Welcome to Season 10 of How to Start Up, the podcast helping you start and scale your business with advice from entrepreneurs on what to do now, next, or never when scaling your company. This season, we're focusing on all things brand, so you'll hear from a series of amazing entrepreneurs on what they've learnt in their own journeys. Hosted by me, Juliet Fallowfield, founder of the B Corp certified PR and communications consultancy, Fallowfield & Mason. Our mission is to enable you to own your communications in-house with a long-term view. Edelman recently reported that 81% of consumers need to trust a brand to consider purchasing it. So it is clear that brands who take the time to build impact, education, and purpose into their offering will also build trust with consumers and ultimately increase their sales. In this episode, I hear from Titi Bello, founder of Ori Lifestyle, the luxury haircare brand now stocked in Selfridges and Harrods. Born out of Titi's own experience with hair loss and seeing her daughter develop hair insecurities, Ori Lifestyle now offers high-performance hair care products alongside coaching courses to improve confidence in their customers' hair. Listen on to hear Titi's advice on why building an educational and purpose-led brand is crucial for success. Well, before we get into the detail, because this season's all around branding, but before we get into that, I'd love it if you could just introduce a bit about yourself and a bit about the brand that you have started.
So my name is Titi, T-I-T-I, Bello. I started the brand in 2019, but I started as a hair coach. So I started helping women, mums, parents to care for their children's hair, Afro-textured hair. I suppose I came into it having suffered significant hair loss myself, and then turned my hair around, and loads of people around me saw that I turned my hair around, and then they started asking me for support, and somehow I started offering services in hair coaching. That's how the brand actually started, and then the products came afterwards.
Hair coaching, I never knew that could be a thing.
It's a big thing, especially within this demography now. It's a big thing. And it's a big thing because I think there is now a recognition that many Black women just didn't really learn to care for their hair in the ways that our counterparts did. So we culturally would put our hair in braids, we'll go to the salon, they'll wash it, they'll put it in braids. And then in our teenage years, when everybody else was learning how to style their hair, we were putting it in weaves and extensions. And so that culture of actually just caring for the natural hair because of the texture of hair hasn't always been in place. And I think a lot of people are recognizing that actually there's a gap in that skills and the knowledge. And so more and more people are now learning to care for their hair, which is a completely different journey to someone like you, for example, who would have naturally just known how to even shampoo your hair and condition your hair and blow dried your hair. You'd be surprised that during COVID, a lot of women came to procure coaching services because they just did not know how to wash their hair. And it sounds really simple.
That's heartbreaking.
But it's heartbreaking, especially when you kind of just go, well, how did we get here? I understand how we got here, but the reality now is things are changing. People want to learn. They want that skill. They want that knowledge. And that's the gap that people like I started to fill.
I've interviewed a lot of founders on this series about identifying a problem in their life and wanting to create the solution, but realizing there's lots of other people that need that solution too. But this episode was about creating a brand with impact and really making sure that there is a place for it and a need for it to help people. And I've grown up in the cosmetic industry. I've had various jobs in various brands, but there's a lot of foundations around how you look makes a massive difference to how you feel.
Absolutely.
And some people could say that's superficial, but it's not. It's your armor. You get up in the morning and how you present yourself to the world. No one else could notice, but how you feel about yourself has a huge impact on your confidence in meetings or what you think you could achieve that day. And especially for women.
Absolutely. I love that you said that. It has an impact on how you feel in meetings because you cannot be confident. You cannot show up as your full self when you feel less than. And I think that when we're talking about Afro-textured hair, it's so exactly what you said. I'm getting so animated because it really is the crux of one of the things that I'm trying to do. Getting Black women more comfortable wearing their own hair. It transcends just beyond the way they look. It really does affect how they show up. It affects how confident they feel. It affects how at ease they are with themselves. And I didn't realize that until I had to go on the journey myself. So
Mm.
I've come from a background of wearing a lot of weaves, extensions, putting my hair in braids. But at one point when I saw the damage, and the damage wasn't necessarily because of those styling practices, but the way in which I was using them. So doing them back to back, not really caring for my own hair. But when I saw the damage, I really decided to confront that damage and repair. But the process of repairing then meant that I had to abstain from those hairstyling, which then meant that I had to confront my own aesthetics with my own hair and become confident in that. And that was a journey. So I didn't stop the weaves or the braids and the wigs and immediately felt confident because
Mm.
my hair was very damaged. So it naturally didn't look its best. But as I began to really take care of it, and it began to thrive. It began to look better. I began to feel better. Then I could wear it out. Then I could feel completely confident. So you're right. It is not a vanity. It's not a vanity point. It is so interlinked with how we show
Mm.
up, how confident we feel. And beyond that, I suppose for us Black women as well, it's so important to our any idea of beauty standards that we hold. You know, for many years, and some would argue even till now, the idea of the Afro textured hair in its natural state being seen as equally beautiful, equally luxurious has not always been the case. And now we're actually beginning to say to ourselves, well, why not?
Yeah.
That is the journey that I'm on. That's the journey that I'm taking people on. It's not just about the brand. It's not just about selling products. It's about really loving our hair, really becoming comfortable in our own skin and becoming comfortable in our own beauty.
Yeah. And saying it is as good as any other. The strive for quality is horrifically awful, as we all know. 2.5% of VC funding goes for female founders, 0.05% goes to Black female founders.
Yeah.
And everybody has proven that if women start businesses the same rate as men, the entire GDP of this country is going to be better off. It's just such an obvious thing to encourage people to do. But on the battleground that you're at of trying to raise up voices and empower people to get there, have you had many barriers to entry to starting your business and doing this work?
A lot of people will say barrier to entry in beauty is quite low. It is and it isn't.
Product is expensive to produce. I'm a service-based business, so I opened a laptop and started and then tried to work it all out. But product involves cost of goods, materials, shipping.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even if you have the funding and capital for all of that, marketing is crucially important.
Yes.
I think when I started the business, I was a little bit naive. Of course, I have great products, you put it out there and people would just buy it, but that's just not the way the modern world works, right? You need marketing, you need visibility. Those things make things difficult. And even exactly as you said, producing goods is expensive. Coming up with formulas is expensive. Finding people who want to work with a small business on maybe a small minimum quantity orders, that's difficult as well. So it's not as easy as many people say, but it's possible. It's possible because I've done it, and I've done it without a lot of money to start off with.
You saw the need for the products for your hair repair. At what point in your journey to your hair restoration, let's say, did you realize, okay, there's a product here for the market that I need to get out to market? Was it purely for your hair coaching? You were developing formulas and you were playing around with stuff. Like, talk us through how you came to have Ori.
There was two things. Finding products that meet the needs of Afro textured hair, but not just meets the needs, but finding products that are also really elegant, products that visually or artistically look good. So people say, my market is saturated. It's true. There are loads of brands on offer to consumers, but are they functioning really well? Do they look good? Do they smell good? Are they elegant? I find that we're getting there, but we're not exactly there yet. So what I really wanted to do was develop products that were very effective, but smelled good
Mm.
and looked good and didn't leave the hair feeling heavy or weighed down.
Oh, so you'll just tick all the boxes at once then?
But there aren't. I mean, traditionally you would have, the products that will cater for us, but they are, in my opinion, a lot of them are heavy.
Mm.
They are oily. They are not as elegant as I thought our hair deserved. That's what we're doing now with Ori Lifestyle. We're making sure that the products are functional, but they also tick all those boxes because I love skincare, for example.
Mm.
And in skincare, I have amazing products on offer, not so much in my own demographic of Afro textured hair. And I was really keen to do something different. But, I also wanted to have things like products that you can use for your hair and your skin. So, for example, we have a clay product. You can use it to clean your hair. It's a shampoo. So an alternative. So people that don't want sulfates in their shampoo or any sort of chemicals can use it to clean their hair because it's got research backing as a cleanser, but you can also use it as a facial mask. I really am leaning into that dual
Yeah, there's
product that you can use,
multi-purpose.
multi-purpose
Yeah.
products. And especially in these times where people are thinking about costings, I think it can be a really effective way to actually get into beauty and try new things if you know that you can use it for different things. So that's one of the things that we're trying to do with the brand, as well as the education piece, which is really at the crux of what we do.
Given that there's the product, but then you need to know how to use it, for you, the two parts of that business go hand in hand? You can't have one without the other. And that educational piece, do you feel like it builds brand loyalty? From a business perspective, it's a no-brainer because people will come to you as a trusted authority on the subject and, oh, you've got a product as well, of course I'm going to buy that. But I know that you started this brand with a much more heartfelt reason behind it. Are you really proud of what you've done?
I'm extremely proud. And I'm extremely proud because we have really anchored that education piece at the heart of what we do. Now, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Because you have the academy, don't you? Where people
Yes.
can come and learn.
Yes. So
Yeah.
we have a hair course where people can come and learn, and there's a bit on our website which is just full of materials and information on hair care. It's not easy because we do unfortunately live in a world where people want quick fixes. They want to buy a hair oil that grows their hair. I get those emails all the time. Which of your oils will help me grow your hair?
Because people are trying to take their hair back and they want to expedite it so it is in a good condition.
Absolutely. And this is across all groups. Everyone, they've mismanaged their hair. They have suffered hair loss. Now they want to grow it back, but they think it's a product that's going to do it for them quickly. So you get emails, we get emails all the time. Which product can we buy to grow your hair? And it would be easy for us to say, oh, just buy our oil or buy our leave-in conditioner. But we have to say, actually, no, what have you been doing to your hair? You need to stop this. You need to do this and then use this. And both of them will help you. So it's not always the easiest to kind of focus on that education piece. But I also find that it's been very, very useful to build a community around education. People are now beginning to see Ori Lifestyle as the place to come to for solid education on hair care. And they know that we are just not going to sell them a product that is professing to do really what it's not going to do in 3 months' time.
Well, that trust is then built, and especially in beauty, it's important. We were talking to Aaron Chatterley the other day about he founded Feel Unique and is now founding Indu for teens. And he's like, anyone can sell a product once. It's getting them to come back and buy it again and again and again, and that loyalty. But for you, how important do you think community is in what you're doing?
Crucial. we are so focused on taking the community along and learning from the community and what they
Yeah.
need.
Well, live
Um,
feedback is no
absolutely,
small thing.
absolutely. We have a product launching at the end of the month, for example. I would never have thought that I would have developed anything like that, but for the feedback that we're getting from the community in how to help them care for their hair. So that community piece is crucial. Sometimes they tell us things that we don't want to hear,
Mm-hmm.
but we get so much from it. But you've got to invest a lot in it. I know people band around this word community,
Yeah.
but we have to invest a lot in it. I have a group of over 200 women on WhatsApp just talking hair care. We have emails focusing on hair education. We have a blog focused on just hair education. So the selling of the product piece, of course, it's a business. It needs to do well, that aspect of it. But we invest so much in the education. And, sometimes it's for the long term. Sometimes we're not going to get the results, or we're not going to get some of that investment back immediately. But over time, I'm convinced that that education piece, as long as we get it right, is going to be the thing that marks us apart from other brands.
I love that. The long game for me is everything. And in our day job where I'm not podcasting, we teach founders how to do their own PR with a long-term view. Because same mentality, if you externalize your PR to an agency and you finish with the agency after a year, those relationships go with the agency. If you do it yourself, it might take a bit longer, but those relationships are with you for the life of your business. And it's a richer relationship. It means more. The trust is there. The journalist knows exactly who to come to for what and when. Like, it's a no-brainer for me. So I love that you
Absolutely.
said that.
So you can imagine with the hair course, we take people on a journey for 6 months. Now, some people say, why am I coming to learn about hair for 6 months? Because it will take you that long. You're learning a new skill. You're learning to deal with your hair that you've never dealt with. But after that 6 months, you will be so well equipped that you will not be seduced to buy ridiculous products that are not going to deliver. You would understand what you need. And when your hair changes, as it will do, whether it's age, whether it's through the seasons, you will know what it needs in that season. That is, that's the beauty of education. That's the beauty of imparting knowledge onto people, as opposed to, I love hairdressers, but as opposed to just delegating
Yeah.
everything out to a hairdresser. You can go to a salon and enjoy the services, but you also know how to care for your hair.
Yeah.
That's where the magic really starts to happen.
How important do you think founding a brand that has a real impactful reason behind it is today?
Oh, it's what drives founders on. Like, it's so motivational. There are times where I look at figures, or I look at what the numbers are saying, and truthfully, I can feel so dejected, but for the purpose. And then somebody sends me an email. Oh my God, look at my daughter's hair after 3 years. I can't believe what you've done for me. Or a
Yeah.
female says, I did go to that dermatologist, or I have had the hair transplant. It's going amazingly well. That's why we're here. That's what drives
Yeah.
us forward. Or sometimes when I get those messages and they say, I wore my hair into the office for the first time.
Wow.
It, I mean, that's
It's worth
what
it,
I'm here
everything.
for. That
Yeah.
is everything. That's what I'm here for. Or I am actually going to wear my hair on my wedding day. That
Yeah.
is, that is something that I wasn't able to do on my wedding day. One of the biggest hair regrets that I have till today. So
Yeah.
when we help people to do that, that's the purpose. That's what, that's what the business is about.
It makes it all worthwhile.
It makes it all
Yeah.
worthwhile and equips you to work through the difficult
Yes.
bits and the challenges.
So we've talked in our our first episode of this season on branding about vision, mission and purpose, and how when I grew up in luxury brands, it's all vision and mission. And very recently, purpose has become much more prominent and talked about. And I think it was Bain and Company's definition on their website. I noticed in the last few years, it used to just be vision and mission. And now they've got the definition of purpose in there. The rise of B Corp, 1%, vegan accredited. Like there's a lot of accreditations you can go after to make you feel like you're doing the right thing. But I think when you put all of your blood, sweat and tears into a startup and a new business, and you've become self-employed and you feel very vulnerable, without that absolute belief in your purpose, it's more than money. It's more than what success looks like. Whoever can say, I find it really funny. Everyone says, "Oh, it looks like it's going really well. You're killing it." I'm like, "You've not seen my P&L."
Exactly.
No one has, and apart from my coach. And I was like, hang on, what does well mean? What does success mean? And it's like, you seem so happy. And I was like, so my metrics of success, I really actually want to write them down. In my old job, when I was going after promotion and trying to gun for a bigger salary and bonus, that was a success. It's like, oh, I'm the youngest person around this boardroom table, or I'm the first female at this senior level of the management team in this brand, or whatever they were. Now it's my team are happy. I'm learning from my team. My team had me in fits of giggles the other day, which you cannot put a price on. But then getting client testimonials, it's the same thing. Your work has helped somebody else. That is worth more than any bonus or any promotion or anything else. You need the money there to exist. And that's where B Corp's very clever. It's like, you need to be profitable to then help people and planet.
Absolutely.
But it's a means to an end, and it's not everything. So for you, what would you advise a new founder who's thinking about starting a business that wants to do something with real impact? Like, is there research they should do, or what would be your tips and tricks for them to just take that leap?
I think go in with your heart. And I know a lot of people, the figures, the data, but go in with your heart. I wanted to start this business. It was all about what people will benefit from this. I thought that people just weren't caring for their hair because they didn't know how to. And it's true, they just didn't know how to. Go in with your heart, even if everything is not making sense in terms of the data, the figures, the numbers. But there has to be that heart piece. And I know for some people it sounds really soft, but I really strongly believe that there has to be. And businesses that will stand the test of time, and the businesses that stand out, I do believe they have a heart. There's a purpose behind it. There's something beyond money that's driving it. There's even a flair or flamboyance. When I started the brand, I made this mistake of wanting to make it visually look like, the big brands are very clean. And within a year, I looked at it and said, it didn't speak to me, the aesthetics of it. So we changed our branding immediately. Everyone told me at the time that it was ridiculous to change branding within a year. It would confuse people. But
your heart was telling you.
But my heart was telling me, it just does not really represent you. And really, it's not giving you any joy every time you look at your packaging. So we changed it. And we changed it to really what I like.
Well, and it's so joyful. I encourage anyone to look at your website, because the packaging alone is a keepsake. You could cut it out and make it into a beautiful gift card. It's
absolutely
so gorgeous.
Absolutely. And I was like, Titi, you love colors, you love design, you love fashion, bring it all in. We did. And within a year, Selfridges picked it up, Harrods picked it up. Nobody can convince me that branding wasn't a part of it. But that's because I went with what my heart wanted as well. And then, of course, it made business sense. Go with your heart. Put your heart into it.
Well, and that passion as well. Someone, when I started, they said, by the way, you're never going to not think about your business now. You're going to have, like, in a shower, be worrying about a client. When you go on a run, and it's so true. But that's why you have to bloody love it. It has to be everything that you're so proud about.
Yes.
But given packaging can be such a barrier to entry, and you rebranded, so obviously you invested in one design and you went to another. Like, how did you tackle that visual identity part?
We started with, what do we want it to say? And you picked up on, it's joyful. That is it. I want you to look at the branding and feel and understand the joy and the love. And the joy and the love is not for the design. It's for Afro-textured hair. That's what I meant in the beginning when I said aesthetically, sometimes I look at other brands in this category and I'm like, what are you doing? Why does it need to be, I'm sorry, but why does it need to be ugly? Why does it need to be
Anything but
frumpy.
absolutely fabulous.
Absolutely. So I think the fact that our branding is fabulous is because I believe Afro textured hair is fabulous. And I really wanted to position it as that because of the struggles that I know some people have. We're actually thinking that Afro textured hair is beautiful. I wanted to use our packaging to say, no, actually, this hair type is beautiful. This hair type is worthy. This hair type deserves to be on the sexiest shelves of any retailer
And celebrated.
and celebrated.
Yeah.
That's what drove the design.
I mean, you can see it through and through. It's absolutely stunning. With impact, I went through B Corp last year and it was a lot of work, but they try and measure impact and they will say they can never really 100% know. For you, are you keeping an eye on those testimonials, those feedbacks? Are you looking at your return on impact, as it were?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'll be honest, before it was more of a feeling. Now we're wanting to actually, have some bit of data behind it. How many people are opening our emails? If it's delivering what they want, if we are giving them the content that they want, more will be opening, right? So we're tracking what people are saying. We're tracking feedback from people. We're still so small as a community that sometimes it's just messages. Messages flood in through WhatsApp. Messages come in through our Instagram pages. It's pictures. It's testimonials.
It's incredibly smart because they become your biggest brand advocates and they will be doing your PR for you because they're big fans. Yeah.
You are absolutely correct. We have at least 5 people. Whatever we share, they reshare. It doesn't matter what it is. They just automatically, I've never come across anything like whatever we share, they reshare. In fact, 2 days ago, I was getting a bit nervous about the new product launch and I am quite a transparent person. And I said it on my Instagram, not the brand page, but the other page. And I got so many messages and somebody said, whatever you launch, we will buy. If I don't like it, I won't buy it again, but I'm buying it anyway the first day you launch. That is one of the ways in which we measure impact.
That loyalty there is huge. It started in 2019. It's a new brand. To have that brand loyalty is insanely amazing.
It's new, but it's come with a lot of work. So it's come with a lot of investing my own energy, time into just talking to people and not trying to sell them things, but having difficult conversations. Sometimes brands shy away from having difficult conversations with consumers, but sometimes I will have difficult conversations online. Do you want great hair in 10 years' time, or do you want to be in a position where you are suffering hair loss? And sometimes these messages are difficult. I mean, they're hard.
And given it's such a personal topic as well, I mean, it's making my day job seem a lot easier because my calling the elephant out in the room is, oh yeah, no, everybody hates PR and this is why. And I was like, what? And it's like, no, people hate PR. And it's like, but you do PR. And it's like, yes, but, and just seeing those scales come off their eyes of like, you're admitting the actual fact of the matter. It builds a much quicker, more rewarding conversation because you said what the pain point is for everybody. And for you, you've gone through it yourself. You are your biggest ambassador and proof point as to why it works. But that trust element, any beauty brand would kill to have that loyalty that you've built so quickly.
Yeah. And, sometimes beauty brands also maybe shy away from challenging their audience. I don't shy away from challenging. They challenge me, I challenge them.
Yeah.
We just did a little campaign in Ghana about conditioning. We're talking about beauty standards, but we all have a role to play in beauty standards. So we should all challenge our own beauty standards and the way that we've been conditioned to believe that certain aesthetics are better than others. I think that if you put in the work, your clients, consumers, your audience are prepared to be challenged, that they will challenge you, and that builds trust.
It's come to me in the most exasperating moments where I'm feeling a bit crestfallen and heartbroken that a client may not have listened or I haven't landed my point and they're being quite bullish about something. And I was like, look, come on, if you don't pitch, it's not going to happen. If you don't go to the gym, you're not going to get fitter. If you don't save money, you're not going to get a savings account in the future. Like, it's not rocket science. And they've been taken aback, but they're like, yeah, actually fair. I know I haven't pitched.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, look, just send the email to the editor. As also small business owners, you can have it. We're in the same boat. You know, we know the trials and tribulations. It's not preaching to the unconverted, I suppose. So yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
What's your golden piece of advice for a person who's on the fence about starting their own business? What would you say to them in terms of do or don't?
Just start, just start. I think sometimes a lot of people overanalyze things. They're fearful about starting. Just start. You will figure it out as you go along. And you don't need a whole heap of money to start. I started this business with less than £5,000. It's possible.
And now you're in Harrods and Selfridges.
Yes. And I'm not a millionaire yet. And
I love it yet.
But I started.
You're on the way.
We are on the way. But you cannot be on the way until you started. So just start. I just think that a lot of people stall. They come up with excuses. They have all these vision boards that they're visioning. They've been visioning. They're on these visioning boards forever. Just start and figure it out as you go along.
So what we have is a question from our previous guest for you, and we would love to ask you a question for our next guest too. And their question for you is, when you're starting a business, say today in 2024, how would you advise that founder to learn how to sell? Because a lot of people have said, no matter what you do, service, product, in a hut in your garden, in a massive office, 80% of your job as a founder is sales. And it's something that I got to grips with really quickly and quite enjoy, but lots of people hate it. Would you have any advice on that?
I really hate it.
Do you?
I do.
Why?
I'm not a natural salesperson.
Surprises me because you speak so confidently.
I know, but sales is not my thing. But I have recognized it as a weakness, and I have been working really hard. So I will 100% actually agree and lean into the reasoning behind that question. I think we need to have a healthy attitude around sales, because sales is actually helping somebody. If your product is good and you feel that it's needed, then you've got to be good at sales, because you're actually doing the people who buy it a favor in the end, if it's a great product. If I was to do it all over again, to be honest with you, if I was to do this business all over again, I would have a partner. I would go for a founder partner that has a completely different skill set to what I have, one of which would be sales. Sales, PR, marketing, I underestimated, and I wished, that's one thing I wished I'd done differently in the beginning.
Yeah. It's so interesting. A lot of people, I work in a co-working office, Soho Works in White City, and I've got this gorgeous community around me of other business owners, all in very different sectors, different skill sets. It's incredible, the variety. And a few of them said, oh no, if I could do it again, I wouldn't have a partner. But I wonder if it's the grass is always greener, because I quite like the fact that I'm autonomous and I don't have to run anything past anyone, bar the team, obviously, but they will potentially leave the business at some point and go on to something else. This is my daily living, breathing life. I can make quick decisions. And there's other people like, no, I definitely couldn't have done it without my partner. But I think it's probably finding the right partner.
Yes.
Who you can rely on and doesn't let you down. Because there's so many horror stories I've heard that I haven't put in the podcast of people being like, oh no, it didn't work because of X, Y, and Z. It's like, oh God.
Yeah. I would go for a partner, but I would go for one that
is in sales.
That is in sales. I also enjoy working with people. I like being a part of a team, and I find being a founder very lonely sometimes.
Yes, totally. Well, and then layering a podcast for me, which is a one-way conversation when you put it out there, and you get feedback occasionally, but it's like, hello, anyone listening?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I find it lonely, and I am sure many founders will say that at some point their mental health has been tested. I'm one of them. And I think that having a partner, just having someone to shoulder the burden with, can be super helpful. And then if you find somebody that also your skill sets are very complementary but different, then I think you can drive the business forward much quicker. Because when I think about it, what am I trying to achieve? I want more Black women to enjoy their own hair, be confident and in their own skin and in their own hair. So what does it matter if I'm doing it by myself or if I'm doing it with somebody else? And if I can do it with somebody else and
Do more
quicker, then that's what the bigger goal is beyond me.
Yeah.
That's what I'll go for.
Given that you haven't currently got a business partner, how do you overcome your fear of sales? What do you do to kind of get yourself out there?
Social media has been kind to us. Being in Harrods and Selfridges has helped, definitely has helped. I think one of the things that has really dawned on me is understanding very clearly now that this is a different skill set. And so at some point, we have to buy that skill set in. I don't know what I don't know. And I don't have skills across every area.
I would say you know what you don't know. So when I started, I didn't know what I didn't know. Now I know what I don't know, and I know what I need to externalize. And I think you're in the same boat of like, I recognize this. I don't want to do this. I want to pay someone else to do it better than me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's where I am at the moment. Of course, with a small business, you have the handicap of the funding. Can you afford it? But as soon as we can afford certain things, that's where the money is going. Sales, marketing, PR, and of course, trying to get into more distribution channels.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And what would your question be for our next guest? Could be anything about starting a business.
I would ask what one thing has helped to move their business along.
A key thing that's really pivoted it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And I ask because for me, I think it is the visual, the aesthetics of our brand, which I have been actually quite shocked about. But it is that thing, and then they try the product and they love the product.
But they're leading the horse to water, that visual identity.
That visual identity, I don't think we can underestimate.
Yeah.
I knew it was important, but I didn't realize how important it is.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Didier. It's fantastic to chat to you. Massive congratulations on what you've achieved in such a short time.
Thank you so much.
And I'm delighted that you're going from strength to strength.
Thank you. And I have listened to a lot of your podcasts now since noon. I love them. I absolutely love them. Thank you.
That means the world.
I do. I really love them.
I really hope you've enjoyed this conversation. You can find a recap of all the advice so kindly shared by our guest in the show notes, along with their contact details. We'd love it if you could rate and review or share this podcast, because it really does help other people discover it. To incentivize this a little, I would very happily offer you one of our PR guides on how to share editorial coverage legally. Just DM us or send us an email, hello@fallowfieldmason.com with review in the title, and we'll share it on.